As we rapidly approach the 5th anniversary of this podcast, it's amazing to us how quickly time has flown by. And when I spoke to my friend Vesa last week, I discovered it had been almost 4 years since he first came on this show to discuss art on the blockchain. So we thought it was a great time to invite him back to see what's changed and what's stayed the same. We get into some deep stuff about the nature of art and how NFTs are changing the game. One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. Take them both and you end up just where you started. There, I've created derivative art with my words. And now we're going to create more art words with our friend Vesa on this artsy fartsy episode number 588 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Welcome to the show, gang. This is the Bad Crypto Podcast. Joel Comm and Travis Wright here for all of your...
Oh, I just farted out some art.
Well, you know, some of the stuff out there, I think Vesa would agree that it looks like somebody just farted out art.
A lot of it's not even art at all. I mean, we were talking about this before the show. Like, there's so many NFT rug pull fake projects now that it's hard to find, in some cases, to find the ones that are the most legit.
Be careful out there, folks. There are a lot of people scamming to take your hard-earned money, and make sure you do your research on these NFT projects, because a lot
Sharks
of them
patrol these waters.
Aye, matey, there be sharks out there, you landlubbers.
Yeah. You know what? My new Jeep is shark gray.
Ooh.
It looks like shark skin. It's okay.
I've seen it. It's badass.
It is pretty badass. Thank you, sir.
What do you think of my what did you call this, a comedy club background?
Yeah, you're at Plucky's Comedy Club, it looks like.
Hey everybody, welcome to Plexi's. Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses. Hey, you over there in the corner.
I have jokes.
So you know what's not a joke? 'Tis the season, gang. Tax season is upon us once more, and April 15th is quickly approaching, and you want to get your crypto tax house in order. We'll be welcoming Clinton Donnelly, who actually does our taxes. He knows crypto taxes, and he also has a service called the Crypto Tax Audit. We're members, cryptotaxaudit.com. It's a monthly membership service, and I'll tell you what, it will alert you up to 6 months in advance if the IRS has flagged you for an audit. It's amazing stuff. Go to the website, check it out, cryptotaxaudit.com. If you're investing in crypto of any kind, then you want to have audit protection. Check out donnellytaxlaw.com for a personal consultation. And again, Clinton Donnelly will be a guest on the show in the near future to talk about all of the late breaking news in the regulations for giving the government your hard-earned money soon.
Yeah, but don't go to crypto taxonomy or taxidermy, crypto taxidermy, because that's where you can get like an owl or like, you know, a deer.
You might get stuffed.
You get stuffed. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but it should be.
Get stuffed,
crypto.
mate.
Get your deer stuff. Get a deer head on your wall, dear.
Get stuffed, mate. So we've got a great interview and then an announcement to make about a new podcast that you need to know about. Had a great time with Vesa, and you can see for yourself how great a time was. By the way, if you want to see it and you're listening to this podcast in your ears, the video version is up on YouTube and Odyssey TV for you to do the visual version, which for this episode in particular, there's lots of visuals because Vesa's got things to show. So let's go ahead and get to that interview right here now. If you set the Wayback Machine on the Bad Crypto Podcast all the way back to episode number 139, broadcast May 23rd, 2018, this is the first time we invited an artist, if you will, a lover and purveyor of art to the show to talk about the future of art and the blockchain. His name is Vesa, and he is an accomplished mixed multimedia artist. I don't even know how he describes himself anymore. The dude paints, does video, includes music, and he's an amazing individual. And as I was talking to Vesa, who's become a good friend the other day, I thought, you're really overdue to come back, because it's been almost 4 years since your appearance, and so much has developed in the blockchain space. So, dude, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Joel. Good to see you, Travis, as well. Feels good to be among friends again.
How do you describe yourself now? Because it used to be a mixed media artist. Now, are you calling digital artist? What's the label?
Digital artist, NFT artist. In terms of substance, probably integral artist, as in like many philosophies as one that kind of works together. But basically trying to cut through all the garbage to go to the essence of it, or why we make art to begin with. So it doesn't feel like it's this sort of drinking wine with a, kind of pinky up type thing, that it would actually feel like something, that it's a part of society. It contributes to the conversation in a way that it would be useful, rather than how we perceive it, which is often a banana on the wall strapped there with duct tape and kind of this kind of
we're going to talk about that, but 2 questions. 1, do people really drink wine with their pinky up? And 2,
I do. It's like, but you have to. It's part of the rule.
Is that how you do it? Is the scarf, you always wear the scarf, is it attached to your neck? Like, is it sewn to your neck? Is your neck cold? Is it just like, this is a mark of Vesa, the scarf?
Yeah, like, how bad does that scarf smell?
I do wash it. I do wash it occasionally, but sometimes I sleep in it with it. So I think you have to have some of the shenanigans, but really where it comes from is that I come from a cold country. I mean, there's probably -5 degrees Celsius there, and so much snow that Helsinki doesn't know what to do with it currently. So I'm kind of used to the cold. I'm just coming out of my shell here in Dubai, and starting to change the television fireplace into now like calming water and this kind of thing, because it's finally like the body is starting to come out of icebox mode.
Well, congratulations, you're recently married, and
thank you.
Very, very happy for you.
He's got a whole lot of love.
Yeah, he does, a whole lot of love. I see what you did there. That's nice.
Yeah.
Why did you leave Finland for Dubai?
Because this is quickly becoming the crypto hub of potentially the world. I mean, the only other city that I could think of is probably Miami, but Miami is in the US, and in terms of like, no matter what you think of the sort of idea of United Nations, it's quite far away in a certain kind of feel. And Miami is Miami. It has a certain kind of vibe. And I think Dubai, for this business and relaxed, and they're really like pushing the legislation, and they move fast with this kind of stuff. Because essentially what I learned from a couple of conversations here, because I've been coming here now for a little over a year, and I spent maybe 3 months altogether here last year. And what people told me is that Dubai doesn't really have money. It's more like it relies on innovation and speed and ideas and execution, whereas it's Oman and Abu Dhabi and those sort of surrounding areas that have all the oil money, and the Saudi guys and this kind of thing. So this is why they always are super keen on doing innovation. They're super fast to react to things, and it really shows here. I mean, the warmth of course helps, but people are really warm, and they're dynamic. And some of the general perceptions, I suppose, with Dubai as well, is that it's full of these Botox lips, type of blondes and this kind of thing. And I barely see it at all. It is here, but because I suppose I'm in the crypto bubble as well, I just come across really genuine, cool individuals. I come across people with inspired conversations.
Just Bitcoin lips. That's all you're seeing.
Yeah, and I'm here with Christos, my DJ musician friend here. We're just composing a soundtrack to an NFT thing that we're doing together. So we just met like a week ago or something and hit it off brilliantly. So we've been working the whole day doing a lot of cool tunes to make some new NFTs.
That's badass. I was actually in Dubai in December. I don't know if you were in Dubai in December, but if we didn't connect and you were there, then I failed miserably. But I was there for like, I don't know, 7 to 10 days. Amazing country, amazing city. It's just, it's like the next level. It's like the city of the future. It's like they're building they're building land like that that 5 Palms area out there, those islands of the Palms, and then they're building the islands of the world. We got in a helicopter. We flew all around and checked it out. It was just unbelievable. I was blown away by Dubai. I think it's by far the coolest city in the world that I've been to. I've been to Singapore. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Sydney. I've been to all the San Francisco, New York, all those. Dubai is just fucking unbelievable. And actually, it was so cool. There was one of the drivers that we got was listening to some unbelievable music. He was listening to some rare, like, Dr. Dre remix thing. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, what are you listening to? What is this playlist? He's like, oh man, I'll get you these, man. I'll bring you over to your hotel. I'll bring you. He brought me this USB of like 3,000 of the top Dubai DJ mix tracks and stuff, dude. Like music from all over the world. Some of the cool stuff. So I would have to say, dude, all the places that I've been, I think Dubai is really special. And there's some really important stuff brewing there in Dubai. And I think you picked a great place to go, my man.
No, and there's a lot of support as well. I mean, we can go into that later, but I'm doing this project with this guy called Dr. Marwan, who's the CEO of the Dubai Blockchain Center, and we're making these NFT cars, which is a superb thing. That's sort of the main drive of what got me here, as well as the weather. Like, how did you find the people here, Travis?
Oh man, everyone seemed really nice. And I think it's part of the deal is like there's very little crime there. Everyone that I talked to was super friendly. You know, I think, you know, some of the mask stuff seems to be going away there. They're not as stringent on that. What I hated about it, the thing I hated the most was when you got to the airport, they immediately stick the fucking shit up your nose to test you for COVID. Like literally you get off the plane and you got to walk in this area and do that. That sucked. The people were really nice. I think that it's a very expensive city. You got to be crypto level 6, I think, to live in Dubai.
Well, you can go a little bit off the grid. I mean, we got our first Airbnb here right at the marina. It's a really nice place, but it does sting a bit, and especially now during Expo because, you know, everyone's here, so the hotels are crazy prices and all kinds of things. But at the same time, you know, for me, if I'm in Finland, there's many things that I love about my country, but it's really all about the middle. So they kind of elevate the bottom, but they kind of have a tendency of pulling the top down as well, which is what I loved about America and our collaborations and the World CryptoCons and all this kind of thing is that still within the sort of DNA of American sort of essence is that whole thing of celebrating greatness, celebrating like high achievement and this kind of thing, and entrepreneurship. And I kind of really fit into that bracket much more than I fit into that in my home country. But I also find it that it's here. It's in a similar way. This is a similar kind of thing, but it's even more, I would say, gentle. And maybe the gentleness is that if you do stray off the road, the penalties here are something that you don't want to deal with.
Oh no, they'll kick you out of the country. It's like the penalties are you screw up, they're kicking you out of the country and you can never come back.
Imagine if we had that here.
Totally just stops crime for the most part. I don't want to have to leave
welcome
forever.
The criminals in here. We're just like in the US. Hey, come on across the borders illegally and have a crack pipe. And
Biden, build back better crack pipes, man. I can't. It's a great campaign strategy.
It's amazing. So, dude, behind you, you've got 2 works of art. And by the way, those of you listening, this is also a video version of this because we're going to be showing off some of Vesa's art and some of the projects he's working on now. So you can go to our YouTube or Odyssey channels to see that for this episode. You've got, it looks like behind you, you've got a piece that is Dubai in, as well as the blood on the podcast floor. But what's this piece over your right shoulder?
Oh, this one is called Refresh. This was my first impression of after coming here for the first time, kind of figuring out what this place was all about. So it's got the sort of Mars behind it because they've got a legit Emirati space program. They're going to the moon and Mars. There's all the blockchain innovation. So it's actually the first sort of code of the first block of Bitcoin is inside of the faces. And the lady in her face has the Emirati Space Program logo. They're crazy about their horses here. So the idea is that If it's possible, a little later through Dr. Marwan, we might discuss maybe getting to tokenize the royal horses. It's sort of very liquid and warm. It's the Dubai sort of skyline here, and the only thing that goes higher than the Burj Khalifa is the rocket going to Mars.
It's
But
That's awesome, my man. I love that.
But most importantly, it works in AR as well, and maybe we can drop this off in the drop it onto the image if some people want to see. Is that if you scan it with your Artivive app on your phone, then it becomes a 1-minute loop and an animation and a soundtrack. This great soundtrack by Jussi, this Finnish.
How's that spelled? Artivive.
Artivive, Artivive. Yeah, that's
Artivive.
It sounds, I think I downloaded that before and I wasn't sure what it was that I had. Yep, I'm going to grab it again, and maybe you can drop us a link to the image so that we can put that on the website so people can check that out. And then over your left shoulder is the piece that was inspired from episode number 130. For those who don't know, Vesa painted this blood on the podcast floor, and he's had it signed now by how many people in the crypto world?
About 70 people, and last time we were on stage together, you asked me not to mouth off all the names, so I definitely won't do that now.
Well, just so many.
But I can tell, some of the people here is like Vitalik Buterin is one of the big ones. For me, most importantly, was Andreas Antonopoulos when he signed it, because it's because of him that I really kind of started understanding Bitcoin and you guys. I started listening to the Bad Crypto podcast and Andreas Antonopoulos. You're my first education into crypto, really.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say ours were the most important autographs on there, but that's okay. My heart's not hurt too much.
We got the great spots on there. We were like some of the first two to sign it, so we got great spots on there.
We barely qualify to be on there compared to the actual developers, in the blockchain world that are on.
Well, not
there,
really, because it says bad on there, and so without this podcast, there would be none of that art would not have been ever created. So we belong.
So I thought it sufficed as a
we belong.
I thought it sufficed as a compliment that you guys really helped me half of my education of blockchain. But I'm not going to pander to you more if that's what you're asking.
No, well, please pander. We love the pandering. So and this has a purpose, right? This is not just a piece of art with signatures. You have a goal in mind for this.
Yeah. I mean, that was the idea. Is that when you guys kindly asked me to come on stage at the end of World CryptoCon, there was. Maxine Ryan, there was Ronnie Moas, there was Charlie Lee, and Vinnie Lingham were on stage. And then we didn't even know to whom we were going to contribute that artwork then, because we kind of changed from a different charity to another. And then Blake Rizzo, the great, awesome dude, lawyer from Litecoin Foundation, he said that there's this a charity in Texas that is a women's shelter that's been running for like 30, 40 years or something, and they chose to start accepting crypto, that this might be eventually the location, and he'd open them crypto wallets and everything, so that the way that because we're still aiming to make this is probably the longest running crypto artwork and NFT that in the history of this whole space. I mean, you tell me another artwork that has been kind of ongoing for 3.5 years and it's still not finished.
Is that an NFT also?
It's originally a digital file. And that it was compiled. So the process really is that I paint, I photograph, I sometimes body paint people and photograph the process, and then I put it together with Photoshop. So the original file is a high resolution Photoshop file, and then I printed it and painted on top of it. So what the buyer will eventually get is this physical version, a one-of-one that has all of these physical signatures, and then the NFT that has the digital signatures. So that's kind of really the combination. It's two artworks in one, and they're kind of glued together, really.
I think you need take a new picture of it to update for the website here, right? Because it doesn't have a lot of the signatures that are on it now.
It should be quite.
Is this recent?
Yeah, I'm not sure though. Well, it's here. I can point to it. And Nick Spanos and CZ were the last ones to sign, and those were particularly cool. Those happened in Dubai a while ago.
That's very cool. What about, it's almost like you could fractional, you can make these NFTs, you could make 21 of them or something, and then have the main one go with the art, and then those other pieces that could be generated as well. Because I know I'd love to have an NFT of the bad 130 blood on the podcast floor. That's badass. So it's like you could almost create more of that one after the art is sold. Maybe confer with the new owner of the piece whenever, and then decide if you want to create additional ones. Because I know there'd be a lot of other people, and that's a way that could generate additional revenue for charity.
Yeah, the fractional ownership is a really cool concept, and it would really work for this piece as well, especially the NFT part. But I think we should just at some point have like a hour-long brainstorming session just between us of what we could truly achieve with this ultimately when the signatures are kind of done and we decide that, okay, this is closed now and now it's time to kind of go to town with it. But by that time I should have had a couple of pieces on Sotheby's and things like that. There's a collaboration now happening with this gallery here called Arts Galore, who has a great relationship with them, so I should get maybe some of these art cars and maybe some NFTs there. And once these things start to happen and we start to sell these art cars, that'll pump my the price of my art up quite a bit, so that should help. And then final kind of closing all the signatures and get the process of right on how to do it, because I mean the bar is really high. It sounds insane. I mean, Beeple did was it 67 or 69 million sale? But
does it matter at that point? I mean, 67, 69, who wants to know?
Yeah, but when it comes to a single artwork, I think Pak did even better. I think with one drop on Nifty Gateway, he did like 90 million, but those were like edition NFTs. It was an open edition thing that he sold. But really, it's like, if you think 3.5 years, the biggest influencers in the whole of this space, it has a great story and it's going to a great charity directly. And by the way, the piece won't go anywhere before the money goes direct to the charity, and the charity makes their own tweets and public statements that they have received the money, and that is after we're going to send and do the whole process of sending the whole thing. So it's all the way transparent from beginning to end, so people can like really feel that this is a true, genuine blockchain project according to the principles of why we're doing this thing in the first place.
Nice. I love it. It's ongoing. And you mentioned art cars. You sent me a few videos here, and they're not all the art cars, they're different things, but I want to talk about what you're doing now. What is this that we're looking at here?
You're looking at Dr. Marwan's personal Tesla. I showed him this picture of a Tesla that I had as a concept art car from 2014. And very soon after that, he gave me a call and he said that he's bought 17 cars that we're going to be making into NFTs. I was like, okay. And soon
that's awesome. So are you going to paint them and then turn them into? Is that what's going on? You going to do custom paint job on these things?
Well, basically the process is this. You in the NFT package, what you get is the car itself, and then there's an artwork called Compound Defiance, which was my first artwork on the DeFi movement. So really the wrap only points to the one-of-one NFT that you get that is wrapped around the car. But then after that, what you're now looking at is the virtual reality version of that car that we're doing with a Finnish virtual reality company called Zoan. And they have this most exciting metaverse of 22 thus far called Cornerstone, which is photorealistic and absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. So what we're going to do is that we're going to build a gallery for me there. I'll probably, if we make it in time, have the first ever building inside of that world. It looks gorgeous. It is the opposite of Sandbox. And then we're going to build racetracks. So essentially, the NFT gets you the car itself, the wrap, the NFT of the artwork, the virtual reality asset that you can then transport into different platforms if you want to, and then access to race these cars in the photorealistic metaverse of Cornerstone. And those who get to race the cars, they can soup them up, they can hire different drivers. The whole idea is that it's almost like a Formula One team racing these different tracks in the metaverse. So what I think is so really cool about this, apart from that it blows like every other NFT kind of utility concept away of how many functions it has, it's also this whole thing that how would I say this? I kind of lost track here actually.
We're talking about wrapping these cars and the integration with the NFT world.
Yeah, sure. I'm not that retarded. It's just
I am just for the record. That's okay. I mean, it's a beautiful, these are beautiful pieces here. Really, really nice. Are any of the other videos?
I remember. Now I remember. So the idea is that, you know, those who win the races, then if we get Binance or someone to have all the sponsorship things along the track and this kind of thing, then we'll have prize money. So it also not only does it flip the idea of what a car is as a liability most of the time into an investable object, but it will give you residual income as well when we get through kind of getting the prize money for those who race the cars. And the only way that you get to race the car, by the way, is that you buy the whole stack, and they won't be cheap. But you can also participate by then buying NFTs that gives you the access to those races to bet on the racers. So there's a multitude of different things that we're doing with. It would probably be cool if we could show the metaverse of Zoan.
Is that the next video here?
Dude, those cars kind of look like they got a stench. It's got this little smell coming off of them. This little funny like smell. No, they look badass, man. I'm telling you what. To take a car and then these things are going to be what, 100 ETH?
We don't know. The minimum bid is going to be $1 million.
Oh shit!
Wow.
There you go.
So what are these? Are the other videos you sent me? Is this part of the metaverse? No, this is your exhibit.
Yeah, the previous is my studio. This is a 360 world's highest resolution digital gallery, and you can make about 1,200 smells come from the ceiling. Everything from the smell of blood to a tropical jungle. You can.
Where is this?
This is in Dubai. It's an Italian company called.
Damn.
Yeah, the next time you guys are here, I really want you to get to here to become a part of the ecosystem of DJing and emceeing these events and doing all of this stuff, so I can see you more.
I'm gonna have to come for like a month or 6 weeks to come hang out in Dubai with you, bro.
Yeah, you've connected us with some people, so we'll see how that goes. I think this one here, this is the metaverse, right?
This is the one. This is the Luxor Temple VR version that we've been building for a year with Superworld. So essentially, this is their flagship VR art gallery, because most of the time they're doing augmented reality. So this is a new push for them. And I have this like great love for Egypt and the pyramids, and I'm such a pyramid head. And we just took this temple that is in the shape of man. That has like this incredible wisdom written into the building itself, and then we took it to the metaverse and kind of made it into my personal art gallery. So this is the project, and it's not come out yet, but these are some of the latest things. We're just finalizing the last touches before we're gonna launch this world, and I'm so excited about this whole thing. The whole team at Superworld just really worked super hard, and they pulled it off like so amazingly. So big shout out to the team who was kind enough to build this with me, with my particular kind of sometimes a little anal requests on how I want the whole place to function and look, with the limitations that you have in these kinds of pixel resolutions and things.
Wow, these are all your artworks.
Yeah, the whole thing.
That's beautiful, man. What an amazing sort of a tribute and testament to the stuff that you've done so far on blockchain. Like, man, you got some of the top blockchain and AR, VR people in the world working with you and just elevating your art to that next level, man. This is incredible. This is unbelievably beautiful.
Totally, man. I mean, this is the thing, is the same as the brotherhood with you guys. When we connected, I'm like, all right, so these are friends for life. This is what keeps happening in blockchain, and it's never happened to me before. I tried hanging out with the hippies, I tried hanging out with the entrepreneurs, and there was always something missing. There was always, and in blockchain, what I found is that you have people who are not only thinking about the bottom line, they want to change the world, they're usually good-hearted, they want to innovate, they do the entrepreneurship, and they have resources, and they're, of course, interested in money, because money is energy, and you need that energy, but it's this whole package that comes together in crypto that I just feel like I fit in like a glove.
I'm really glad you found your home in this space, and I figured out, I think this is going to work here for those of you who are watching the video. You're going to see, but I've got the Reflector app set up on the video, and I got the Art Vivo, and you should, if I can get this working right here, I need to get this out of the way. If I point this, there we go.
Yeah, it should start working.
This is the living version of your piece Refresh. Look at that.
Dude, that's badass how it works even on the screen there. So you don't actually have to be at the physical location to get that extra element. You can play around with that right there on the phone. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm turning the audio down. So
I can send you a video a little later of how it's working, because at least it's jarring for me here.
yeah, that's Zoom for you, but it looks really sweet here on your phone. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. You guys can go download the Art Vive app for free and then point it at some art and watch it come alive. It
kind of reminds me. Remember, you showed me that those the wine
wine bottles.
Joel? Those wine bottles. It was just like something weird. It was like it's like you shine your phone on the wine bottle.
It's called Living Wine Labels, and it worked with The Walking Dead, some Behringer wines, and the 19 Crimes. They've really leveled up too. The 19 Crimes one, they've gone from just the face talking to when you scan over it, now it's like they act out. You know,
it's like a story. Like some dude got caught and then had guillotine, and his head got chopped off, and they're like, "What? Like this is ridiculous." This is like
Joel, by the way, it's the last video. It's the last video that I sent you on Telegram, which is the sort of Zoan trailer.
Okay, let me pull that, the one with the horse in it.
Yeah.
That the one. All right, let me pull that up here. We'll get a look at this together, so we can see this and talk about what we're looking at here.
Okay, so this is the trailer for the Zoan metaverse called Cornerstone Land. I think the website is cornerstone.land, and they're selling plots of land. I think it's up to $100 million worth of land, and it's a place that you can monetize, you can build there, you can have your like businesses there, and it's photorealistic. It really looks like this. They're using Unreal Engine 5, I think, and they have a relationship with these guys to the point that they've kind of maximized the whole visual output of this whole island. And there's quite a lot of cool stuff that is coming there. But as you can see, if you compare it to almost anything out there, this is so next level in terms of its photorealistic quality of the whole place. And of course, for high resolution moving art, then it's also the place for me. And you know, Mika, the CEO, is an amazing person. We've had many meetups together and kind of brainstorming in these ideas and how to do the races in this on this island. And I'm super excited about it. You can see a more playable version that I sent you now, Joel, with the kind of avatar moving in world and driving a car and this kind of thing. That looked really grim, the first trailer. It's really sort of like gloomy and stuff, and this is a little bit more sunshine and kind of color to it. The next one.
In a very dark world, in a very
I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the Zoan.
I think that's pretty sure that's a different one. I don't know. So, you know, early on in the interview, you started to tip to controversial, and I want to go full controversial because you have very strong opinions about the quote unquote art world and the bananas taped to the wall, and what art is. I want to give you a moment here just to rant, like give us your short keynote on what you think is wrong with the art world and how some in the blockchain space are falling prey to the same traps.
Well, I would say it's more than just going after people and pissing people off. I think it's best to give my actual perspective on the thing, and you have to start at the very beginning of art, because this is the thing, is that, like I was saying, that the perception is that it's a little pretentious and you have rocks on display and all this stupid kind of explanations for why a water bottle is in a gallery and this kind of whatever. But if you really go back to the beginning, I think the oldest two art forms that we ever did was either cave painting or body painting. And what you did with cave painting is kind of many of the functions of what we do now. You conveyed information, you wanted to leave some sort of a legacy, you want to tell stories, to kind of commune around them and have these experiences of someone having this skill and kind of leaving something about the tribe behind. or future education. And then we did body painting because we were kind of just like, I don't know, some people found some strange mushrooms and looked at the galaxy and kind of put themselves in mud and transformed their sort of consciousness. It was something that you painted yourself for war. You did an internal transformation. I think those things are the core of it. And then it sort of evolved into churches like the Sistine Chapel, and churches realized that there's a lot of power in this kind of expansion of the mind through art. And if it's saying something that is sort of hits the psyche that we have, or the archetypal sort of soul we all have, then you have something actually valuable, and you can transcend yourself, you can have awe, you can have these beautiful experiences, or even tell what your demons are and try and exercise them out of you. And as you do that as an artist, maybe someone else has the courage to do it also. So that's how I see the function of it. And then ultimately, I think Jordan Peterson, the Canadian controversial professor, he has a very good take on how postmodernism really took over. That you had sort of communism, and then in the early 70s, when Gulag Archipelago and a couple of other books came about, people learned that communism really isn't the utopia that it was promised to be, that it's actually quite something. Then most people couldn't be communists anymore, but they didn't actually change their value system. So then there was a couple of French philosophers like Foucault and a few others who kind of made this new foundation of race and gender and some other things, which is feminism, and they lumped it together, but they actually have a foundation of Marxism, really. So to go back even a little bit more, money was always tied to gold or something like this. And then when in 1971, Richard Nixon took out the gold standard from underneath the dollar, that's also when Andy Warhol came into provenance. He started his literal factory to kind of make these silk screen prints and make these very sort of snarky comments about society and consumerism, and kind of at the same time, it had the cool hip scene where all the rock stars were, and sort of even politicians and the whole party scene. So Warhol was really like, in Bitcoin terms, he was the original Bitcoin, and then it forked. It forked into this sort of jet set class, sexy death, Jeff Koons, Damien Hirst, these really fantastical artworks that are so impressive, but it's really that whole thing that I have my private jet and I'm flying to Miami and then I'll throw some cash around and buy cool art type of vibe. And then the other fork was the sort of Marxist foundation that became postmodernism, that became very cerebral, it became very sort of activist-like, and especially from the left. So this is the bracket of the last 50 years that art has really been able to be in. It's either these sexy objects or then the kind of political propaganda. And what I want to do with this whole thing is, instead of saying that they can't do their own thing, and I've had my own resentments, I've had my own problems with society, and I'm not really someone who's politically committed. I have some right-wing values, I have some left-wing values, and I'm trying to find balance as a human being altogether, to try and find how these things really work. And the monetary system seemed to be at the very core of it, and it actually reflected into art in this way. But now what's the really important thing is that now we can expand out of that. We can go back to the body painting, we can go to the cave painting, we can go to the spiritual sources of art, to the actual function of it. What is it meant to do as a slice of life for us, as opposed to exist in its own bubble? And what can we now do with these metaverses? What can galleries do? I mean, the idea of my gallery in the Zoan metaverse is that it floats, because gravity doesn't really matter. The top of the whole thing can have water and it can rotate, but the water doesn't drop, because again, gravity is not an issue. How expansive can it be if it's floating and it's not taking any space from the island itself? And now that I look at like the majority of the metaverses, you'll have things like chairs there. Why? Your body doesn't get tired in the metaverse. It's like a hangover from the physical reality. So now if you take the past, you expand into the past, and you expand into the future, what is the gamification of art? What is the tokenization? What is the utility? So I would say what is most missing from art at the moment is the actual language of art, because people haven't really been doing substantial language inside of art. So even in the NFT space, in the fine art realm of it, most people are really just looking for, so what kind of utility does this have? Because most people don't read the art itself, and that's been a little frustrating for me. That's why I built the NFT art car thing with Dr. Marwan, because you have it all. You have the substance storytelling art of Bitcoin and the whole crypto space. You have a physical object that is valuable. You have these new things like the cars and the races and all of these different things that you can stack value on top of each other. And one of the cool things that I thought of as well is that we could do incentivization in a way that to this whole bundle, eventually some DeFi coins could be attached. And it's if you sell the whole bundle away and you sell it before, let's say, 5 years, then you also have to let go of the coins. That you don't even get possession of those coins unless if you become a hodler of those assets. So this is what it's really about for me. It's like because always when you're clashing with people and their ideologies and their internal map or whatever it is, you just end up pissing off everyone. So I'm trying to find, honestly, as much common ground with people as there are to see that the world is so much larger than we're currently experiencing it. And here's another really cool thing about the metaverse. I mean, with regards to this sort of race and gender and all this kind of stuff, and I see some validity to it. It's like there's points that have been made that are actually great, but what's even better is to have some sort of a solution, which in this particular case is that you have people in the metaverse that have boom boxes for heads. They have rockets behind them, and they have green legs or bodies, and they're aliens or whatever they are. So the actual constraints of what we can't really change here in the world. I'm a straight white guy, so I might as well be a demon to the majority of the art world just because of how I look instead of what my actual values are and what I'm trying to do in this way. So I find myself in a conundrum with it as well. But now in the metaverse, all of a sudden you can have let's say an old white MIT professor or someone, and you can have a poor kid from India that just has access to this world for some reason, and if they resonate, they can start to communicate. And it's not restrained to your physical appearance and things like that. And one last point, what I think is one of the most controversial things, and I have a take on it that might be useful, is that when we had the beginning of computers. By the way, I realize that I've probably gone over my rant time here, but this is the last point, I promise. Is that when we first got computers, the first IBMs, they looked like these ship containers or something like that. And I think the head of IBM said that there's only going to ever be 5 computers. Now, if we're watching the first sort of motions of transgenderism and this kind of like how we're going to augment our bodies and doing whatever, it looks a little clunky to us. But if you really think that we're going into the direction where Elon Musk is sort of microchipping us, but potentially to kind of go into these metaverses, you're going to be able to augment your body and all of these different parts and change also your physical reality. I think the first clunkiness of these clashes of what we're having with this trans thing as well is just the beginning of it, so that it can evolve into something that might even become quite beautiful in a way that we don't yet see. And it might become much more fluid in a way that it doesn't clash with everyone's values so much. But that's just my take, and maybe a little bit of a peace offering after I kind of said all that thing about postmodernism that I did.
Very nice. I think after hearing your rants and knowing your background and your political stance, it seems like you're not just an artist, my dude. It's like you're a cultural anthropologist. You're a metaphysical digital artist visionary kind of dude.
Same, brother.
What's we need like wait, what did you just call him, Trav? Say that again.
Is a cultural anthropologist, metaphysical digital artist, and visionary.
There's like a CAMDIV. Is that what that would be?
He's a CAMDAV.
A CAMDAV. You're the world's first CAMDAV, Vesa.
Coined here by you amazing people.
You could put that on your credentials. I want to encourage everybody to go check out Vesa's site at artforcrypto.com. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here for the visuals. Crypto or an NFT since 2017, and we've been broadcasting since 2017. We're just kind of, in parallel here. And what's really impressive to me is the list of people who are collecting your artwork. You got Charles Hoskinson, Charlie Lee, Dr. Marwan, Saeed Al-Darmaki, the founder of Shisha, Tone Vase. There's people that are like, they get it. Right? They totally understand what it is you're creating and building. And we're just, pleased to call you an OG of the space. You are a visionary and a pioneer and a super nice guy too.
Listen, it means the world to me that we're friends. I mean, I remember the first episode that we've recorded together. I was super nervous coming on. I couldn't believe that among my favorite podcast like voices, all of a sudden I wasn't just listening to them. I was hearing you guys talk to me. I was nervous, and I was new to this whole public speaking thing and whatever. And you guys gave me a platform to come on and do this collaboration, and it really, like, it means the world to me. So mutual admiration club is what I'm saying.
I get nervous every time I talk to Travis. Not for the same reasons. He just makes me uneasy.
I don't know what the fuck Travis gonna say. Gonna drop a bomb. You happy Travis or grumpy Travis? Happy Travis is 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But then there's like 9%
grumpy
Travis.
ass Travis is
like
not
1%
fun.
sweet Travis.
Yeah, he's. I want you to show off your friend here that you have off to the side for our viewers. Yeah,
this is Elton John Paca. He's an alpaca that I picked up from Bulgaria from my travels there, and we sort of realized that he has a bit of a cocaine problem. He's a bit of a party animal. He lives at night. He really he's trying to find spirituality. He's trying to find peace, and we just had to adopt him so that we can sort of help him on his journey to recovery and sort of integration into the world a little bit better. He relapses sometimes. He's a bit of a tough cookie that way, but we have faith in him. So he's with us.
He looks happy.
That is really cute. Actually, I learned recently that John Alpaca Lennon and Alpaca Elton John over there wrote "Whatever Gets You Through the Night" and together, and that was the #1 song. That was Alpaca John's first #1 song after the alveols.
Mm.
He's
still standing. So yeah.
Very nice.
Vesa, thanks, dude, for coming on. And I guess in 4 years we'll do it again.
Privilege.
As you can plainly see, this episode here has visual aids.
Wait, we just gave everybody AIDS?
It's visual aids. We're using images and videos, and it's visual aids.
That's not funny. You're canceled.
I'm canceled. Oh no, well, go get another jab and get yourself some AIDS.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have the comedy background behind me.
Yeah, but speaking of canceled, I'm grabbing a couple new reviews that came in right now to put into the show notes.
Was it after the conspiracy theory one with the Joshua Scala?
Yeah, I think just as we predicted. If you start telling people to then almost on command, they do exactly that. But before we get to those, told you guys we wanted to announce a new podcast. As you are aware, the producer of this show, Aaron Sell, is an NFT enthusiast as well. And having gone down the rabbit hole with a friend of hers here in Puerto Rico, Jen FT, the two of them have started a new podcast designed to focus on women in NFTs. It's called The Nifty Chicks, hosted by Jen FT and Mint E-Cell. E-Cell for Aaron Sell. Mint is her favorite color. So there you go. They've got their new YouTube channel, new podcast. You can follow them at The Nifty Chicks on the YouTubes, Twitters, and Instagrams. They're going to be releasing episodes weekly featuring NFT projects created by women, led by women, featuring women, and appealing to women. Check it out. Subscribe. Go to theniftychicks.io to check it out. And as she's editing the show, she might replay this portion several times.
This is very gender biased. I am very offended at how it only caters to women.
No, you're not.
I was joking about, I was talking, so like in Eastern Europe, so International Women's Day is March 8th, right? It's very big over there. But then there's also Valentine's Day on the 14th of February. So it's like 14th of February, then March 8th, 3 weeks later is like another Valentine's Day to them. So if you date an Eastern European woman, it is extra expensive. I was saying, what? International Women's Day is March 8th? And I go, well, that's funny because International Men's Days is March 9th through March 7th.
March 9th through 7th.
Yeah, like the whole year around.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
364 days a year. Whee!
Hey, I think that you should read this listener feedback from Wes because he's
Wes.
an Aussie. Go ahead,
All right.
give it to us.
Good day, fellas. Aussie West here in West Australia. Once a free and wonderful place, now full of clowns run by a communist clown who has locked everyone down and locked us in. McClown, as he is referred to by those in the know, has created a dystopian paradise full of complacent non-thinkers. Writing in as your last pod with Erica, you suggested it's only ever the wingers who email.
Whingers.
So
They whinge.
the whiners. Oh, the whiners, probably.
No, whingers. That's
The
that's
whingers?
the word. Yeah, people whinge. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the whinges who email. So I hear your call and I'm responding with 2 thumbs up. You guys are in my wait for release top podcast list and on the extra thumb up for all the occasional inappropriate comments. I've now got Puerto Rico on my research list of places to escape to. Keep up the great work. Much appreciated. West, you.
Whatever that is. So he has 3 thumbs.
3.
That's, yeah, he's like a mutant Aussie guy. Thanks, Wes. We appreciate that. And on cue, exactly as predicted, we have a 3-star review from Riphead. And he wrote,
Riphead.
Lots of dumb jokes. I appreciate the info in the show, but often intelligent thoughts from guests are stepped on with the equivalent of a fart joke. Actually, often a fart joke. I mean,
Right.
Many times it's precisely a fart joke.
Or a corn joke.
These guys are a lot less funny than they believe themselves to be. I believe I'm about this funny. This is how I'm about this funny, actually. So I'm exactly as funny as I believe myself to be, which is to say, not too funny.
Well, I believe I believe I'm this funny, but I'm actually this funny.
So you're
eat a bag
funnier.
of dicks.
You're funnier than you believe.
I'm way funnier than I believe, and I'm way more humble than I should be.
And Neeks wrote 2 stars, more crypto, less nonsense. I think they know something about crypto, but it's tough to ascertain between all their political rants. Their takes will certainly resonate with many people, but there are many better podcasts if you're looking for information and education around crypto. Perhaps the title of the podcast is Truth in Advertising. You think so, knucklehead?
Well, if you think that politics and crypto are separated, then you don't really fully understand crypto. You don't fully understand the way the world is working and the way things are going. We got into crypto because really the political atmosphere, how it was changing and how the cancel culture and all this other shit's going on. And really crypto is our only potential savior to get us away from a authoritarian dystopia panopticon kind of thing. So thanks for you're not going to hear this because you don't tune in anymore, but that's great. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
No, he's still listening. He can't avoid it. He is attracted to the sound of our voices like the moth to the flame.
Well, maybe we know something about crypto.
Go
We've been doing it for 5 years. We learned something along the way.
Yeah, I mean, we're only advising some of the biggest projects out there, and they have congratulated us and thanked us for the valuable.
Well, that's only because they don't listen to our podcast and our political rants. Because we're horrible, awful people. They think outside the box.
They just go on our 50 years of combined marketing experience and online success to bring us on. See, a lot of people don't realize that this ain't our first rodeo, gang. I mean, we're not millennials.
Actually, it is. I've only had one rodeo.
Well, so that means it's not the first one.
Well, you know what? I did grow up in a small country town where they had a rodeo every year, so I'm used to rodeos.
I've been to Rodeo Drive. Does that count?
I've also been. I have never actually. You know what? I was talking to this. I've never actually ridden a horse.
Never?
Never, not one time.
Wow. So I was scared as a child riding them because I almost got thrown one time, and as an adult, I've ridden them many times. And full disclosure, I still get nervous. Like they're wonderful beasts.
I just think they're beautiful. I was like, that's nice. And I was like, yeah, I weigh a little bit. I don't want to be getting up on your horse. That's not nice to you. So just have a nice day. And I do think that horses are so beautiful and majestic. There's a lot. Matter of fact, yesterday at lunch or for lunch, I got myself some pinchos and went down to the beach, got a couple stools, drove my Jeep out and parked it, went out there, had a nice meal, and came out, and there was a big ass horse. So there is a lot of like stray, just, out in the wild horses here. And it's because the conquistadors brought all these horses to Puerto Rico and also to Vieques. There's about, I think they said 2,500, 3,000 wild horses in Vieques. And wow. So this horse looked at me and went, and then it ran over, and then it brought its baby out. And then, so then they were both looking at me. I was like, what's up, little baby? And then I had this amazing candy bar called Munch. It's a Munch bar, I think. But it's like almonds and it's like baked honey on them. So they're like super good. So I like broke off a chunk of the Munch and gave it to the horses. And they seemed happy. And they didn't hit me or kick me. And I said, well, have a nice day, horses. And I drove off, and then they waved.
Raised their hoof. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Travis. We'll see you later, buddy. Thanks for the munch.
We could call on a couple of you who are enjoying the show. I think it's time to counter the silly reviews with some 5-star silly reviews. So go hop over to iTunes or wherever it is you write reviews. Take a minute to drop us a couple lines. Let us know that you still love us, because they're critiquing us and it hurts our fifi so
Some of these guys are really mean. They're mean. And they have really small penises and can't take jokes very well. These people really tiny micro penises, and they just really don't like humor. They don't like politics. They hate living in their mom's basement. They hate crypto going down. They're just not happy, especially about their super small, tiny micro penises.
We told you guys that we would mock you. So, I mean, you asked for it. It's like you self-identify. Say, go ahead, make fun of us.
Micro penis ones.
Thanks for tuning in. Got a great.
If you leave a 3-star review or less, it's just because you have a micro penis. I can't help it.
There is a gentleman that I met at Bitcoin Miami last month.
Speaking of micro penises, this guy.
That is not true. Well, I actually don't know, because we did not ask that question. He is a Wall Street mathematician, and he has been in the blockchain space, but he also is an investor in space type ventures, deep space ventures. This is an absolutely fascinating conversation. It's coming up on the Sunday show, so don't you dare miss it. There will be jokes in there, the equivalent of fart jokes, and maybe an actual fart.
That's true. And there will be an announcement in that one of a project that I've been working on, mostly sort of stealth, and we'll reveal that.
That's the corn show. NFTs one. Is that the?
What was it? Baboon butts?
Corn FTs.
Corn FTs, not corn FTs.
Baboon butts. There's all kinds of crazy NFT ideas we got coming your way. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Until then, fart jokes. What else are we gonna do?
Stay angry
and bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.